Happy Friendship Day. Very, very happy Friendship Day to my friends, to my friends, to my friends, and to my friends. Oops, I should have said to my friends, to my colleagues, to my teachers, to my fellow researchers, but I said to all my friends. Yes, I regard my teacher to be my friend, I regard my supervisor to be my friend, I regard my colleague to be my friend, I regard my friend to be my friend, I regard my students to be my friend, I regard my wife to be my friend, I regard my mom and dad to be my friends. Now, why I do that? Uh, I would certainly can talk about that, but before I get into the thick of things, uh, let me acknowledge this that since morning, 1st of August, uh, I have been bombarded with requests. Not request, but a kind of in Bengali called abdar. That we want a YouTube video or in your channel on Friendship Day. We want a gift. So I thought, what better than uploading a video or dedicating to all the friends across the board on this Happy Friendship Day, 1st of August 2021. And this dedication on this Friendship Day, on this Happy Friendship Day, should uh, properly begin with an excerpt from Sam Shalvedurai's Funny Boy. And I'll be reading a few excerpts from the novel, and then we'll talk about the celebration of Happy Friendship Day. Let's read from Sam Shalvedurai's Funny Boy. It was full day of rehearsal, and a lot of people went to Green Cabin for lunch. There were only two vehicles to take us to restaurant. I'm reading from Radha Aunty chapter from Shalvedurai's Funny Boy. A minivan belonging to one of the girls and Anil's car. By the time Radha Aunty I got to the gates of St. Teresa's, the minivan was full. Radha Aunty grabbed my hand and hurried back inside the gates again. Let's sit down for a while, she said to me and pointed to some steps. But we'll miss the ride. Never mind, we'll take a bus. I looked at the fixed expression on her face and I saw there was no point in arguing, but I couldn't see why she would give up such comfort of lift to Green Cabin. To stand in the midday sun and wait for a bus? When we arrived at the restaurant, all the tables were taken and the cast occupied the row of open air booths that were detached from the main part of the restaurant. Radha Aunty held on to my hand. She went from one booth to the other, looking for a place. And Anil was in the last booth with a group of his male friends. When he saw us, he moved a little and indicated that there was enough space for both of us. Radha Aunty hesitated and then quickly ushered me into the booth ahead of her so that I was seated between them. As Radha Aunty looked at the menu, I saw Anil's friends glanced at him and smiled. He returned their looks with a stern expression. When the waiter had brought their food, he began to take Radha Aunty's order. Anil insisted that Radha Aunty have his lampreys, but she pretended she had not heard him. Ordered one from the waiter. She also ordered a plate of pastries for me and 2 glasses of lime juice. Once the waiter had gone, Anil repeated his request, but she shook her head. Then I shall wait till your lampreys comes, he said stubbornly. Why that? Radha auntie asked rudely. His friends had begun to eat, and they looked at each other in amusement. Because you are a lady, and it would be impolite. Because you are a lady, and it would be impolite. Radha auntie shrugged dismissively. Think of me as a friend, not a lady. Think of me as a friend and not a lady. On this note, I would stop reading this excerpt from Shyam Shalvadore's Funny Boy. Now, what did Radha auntie say? Radha auntie said, do not think of me as a woman, think of me as a friend. Now, this morning, I didn't want to say that, but this morning I suffered a little bit of anxiety attack. And when I suffered that anxiety attack, I was taken to a clinic, and they attended me. And while I was waiting there for my turn, there were 3 to 4 boys who were already waiting inside. And one of the boys was telling the other boys, his friends, that can I crack a joke? Can I crack a joke? Can I tell a joke? Please let me crack a joke. And just in the nick of the moment, in the 11th hour, a woman walked in, and suddenly all the boys stopped. And the guy who was insisted on him telling the joke also stopped. And when the lady disappeared, as soon as she departed, then that boy again continued narrating his joke. Then the boy again continued narrating his joke. Now, why did he stop? Because he was a gentleman, and gentleman does not crack a joke. Apparently, they were cracking a joke on women in general. Now the thing that I am thinking about this is that why does a gentleman never crack a joke on women? Yes, a gentleman never cracks a joke on women when women are in front. But whenever women leave, then they can crack a joke. So gentleman is allowed to crack a joke on women when women are absent. So that's fine if you are a gentleman. But a gentleman is a true gentleman and never shares a joke in front of a lady because of him being a gentleman. Now, this is exactly where the discussion would become extraordinarily funny. Now, why it becomes funny? Because this is a strategy that patriarchy uses. Patriarchy never wants a heteronormative man to regard a woman as his friend. Patriarchy never wants heteronormative patriarchal men to consider any woman his friend. And therefore, what does patriarchy do? Patriarchy convinces heteronormative patriarchal hegemonic men, even complicit men, to regard women as a source of respect. And what you are doing basically while respecting women, you are excluding women from the discussion. So thereby, whenever women are present, we never share the joke. Because we cannot share a joke without offending women. So all we do, we never crack a joke in front of women because we are gentlemen. So this is therefore becomes a patriarchal exclusionary strategy. So the gentleman, therefore, I genuinely regard gentleman as a patriarchal myth that functions in heteronormative society by excluding women. So the myth of gentleman is a patriarchal exclusionary practice and politics on women. And thereby the whole myth of gentleman is terribly patriarchal, absolutely patriarchal, hands down. Now, I would request my viewers to think about how RG in this novel, Funny Boy, was handled when he was found, or he was, should I say, caught red handed wearing sari. Now, when RG was wearing sari, then everybody found him strange and funny. Everybody found him strange and funny. Why? Because he was crossing gender border. He was crossing gender boundary. He is a man. He is a body that is born with penis between the legs. So he cannot dress like that. He has to perform masculinity. So he cannot wear sari. He cannot wear sari. So therefore, whenever he wears a sari, he would be made fun of, he would be called strange, he would be ridiculed, and he would be found funny. And therefore, this act of finding RG funny is an act of violence. This act of finding RG funny is an act of patriarchy, is an act of heteronormative patriarchal violence. Because you cannot wear sari if you are born with a penis. Again, you cannot play bride game if you are born with a penis. You have to play cricket. It's very much like there is also a thing that I call culture a vulture, almost. If you are born Bengali, then you have to love Rabindranath and Rashogolla. How can you not love Rashogolla and Rabindra Sangeet if you are born Bengali? If you are born Bihari, you have to love Pan Bahar Gutka, Bolo Juba Kesari. Right? If you are born in Rajasthan, you have to like Fapra, Fopra, Dhokla and all those stuffs. Right? So, I cannot be a Bengali if I do not over sentimentalize Rabindra Sangeet. If I cannot be a Bengali if I do not go gaga over Rashogolla and how wonderful Rashogolla is as a sweet. So therefore, you need to understand that you cannot play cricket if you are born without penis, and you cannot play bride game if you are born with penis. So your performance of gender would be decided by the kind of organ you have or you do not have between your two legs. Therefore, RG obviously is not a gentleman, but O'Neill is a gentleman. Why? Because of three reasons, three patriarchal reasons. A, because O'Neill does not eat before a lady, and his friends are also gentlemen because they don't crack a joke. They giggle, they smile when they see women, but they don't crack a joke in front of women because they're gentlemen. ভদ্রলোকেরা মহিলার সামনে অসভ্য jokes crack করে না. And the third thing is that, what did Radha auntie say? Radha auntie said that, do not consider me a gentle lady. Please take me as your friend. That is to say, I do not want you to be behaving like a gentleman. Just take me as a lady. And that's why I am tempted to say And I'm tired of saying this, that do not respect a woman. And I mean, every time I ask the definition of gentleman, people would say that gentleman is one who respects women. Gentleman is one who respects women. Do not, this is my gift on this friendship day. Do not respect women. Never respect women. Never ever respect women. Take women as your friend. Respecting women is the most heteronormative, homophobic, and patriarchal idea that you can ever have as a man. You are playing right into the hands of patriarchy, because every time you respect a woman, you exclude a woman. And that's why respectful, patriarchal, heteronormative gentlemen never share jokes in front of women, because it is almost given that jokes cannot be cracked without offending others. But you can crack a joke without offending others. These jokes are still available, unless and otherwise you are a gentleman who respects women and who says, don't take me, don't have to respect me, I am your friend, take me as a friend, stop respecting me, just be my friend. And what do men do? What do women do then? Men should stop respecting women. They start regarding women as their friend. And the day men would start respecting women, patriarchy would be happy. And the day men would stop respecting women and start taking women as men's friends, guess who would be unhappy? It's patriarchy, sir. It's heteronormativity, sir. That would be unhappy. So my submission before I conclude is that I would request you to think about the name of the lady who is asking the boys, the men, not to respect her, take her as a friend. Her name is Radha Aunty. And every time I talk about Radha Aunty, it goes back to the myth of Radha, who was the wife of Krishna? Not really. Who was the girlfriend of Krishna? Not really. Who was the sister of Krishna? Not really. Who was the ex-wife or ex-girlfriend of Lord Krishna? Not really. Who was the friend of Shakha and Shakhi? They are the friend of Krishna. And what better way to celebrate this happy friendship day when we celebrate not respecting women? If you are a gentleman, take women as your friend. What better way to think about Lord Krishna and Radha, whom we worship, we celebrate, because they are the icons. The Lord Krishna and Radha, they are the icons of friendship. They celebrate friendship. And on this note, I would say that queer is athwart. If you see my lectures in different colleges and universities and previous YouTube uploads, queer is athwart. So queer is something that always disturbs, challenges, and subverts the relationship dynamics. Because father, mother, husband, wife, daughter, son, sister, brother, grandchildren, granddaughter, grandson, these all categories of relationships have name. And patriarchy loves to categorize and give proper title and name to all relationships. Only one kind of relationship that patriarchy fails to name: friendship. So friendship is therefore the greatest challenge that we can pose to patriarchy, we can pose to heteronormativity. And therefore, almost women, when women want that regard me as your friend, what women are doing, and don't have to respect me, regard me as your friend, what women are doing, women are throwing the challenge back at heteronormative patriarchal men. And similarly, when we're talking about queer, the queer body, what it is doing, it is also throwing the challenge back at heteronormative men. So what women, while being disrespected and being made a friend, when women say that don't take me as your respectful woman, take me as your friend, don't have to respect me, I'm a woman, you don't have to respect me, just take me as your friend, then what women are doing to patriarchy, similarly queer studies is doing to heteronormativity. So on this note, I conclude this video as a part of my celebration and dedication to all my friends on Happy Friendship Day. Love you all. See you soon. And Happy Friendship Day to all. To all my teachers, to all my students, to all my friends, to all my neighbors, because this is the only relationship, friendship, that patriarchy struggles, fails to give name to. So the last hope that we have to find a challenge, a subversion against patriarchy is the celebration of friendship. Happy Friendship Day.